morning, Stitch Roadies. It's a glorious day in the greater Portland, Oregon area. It's absolutely stunning, and I am going to be out in the garden this afternoon only because G tells me that we are headed back into rain next week. Yeah, that's why everything blooms here. Overnight, one of my trees just exploded into pink blossoms. It was absolutely stunning. And then I have a few rhododendrons, which are an interesting flowering bush that grows in the forest. They're stunning. And one particular one is already got blooms all over it. And I'm thinking because it doesn't get as much sun because it's tucked under the trees in our yard, but it's so fun to hear that, to see that, and to hear the frogs. The frogs are starting to come. Ever so quietly you hear their little rivets, and then in probably, I think by the end of the week, it'll be a cacophony of frog choir. Yeah. I think that's what's going to be happening here this next week. Yeah, so G took the opportunity, since today was a lovely day, to go out on a hike. And I have a few appointments today, so I could not go. But I wanted to stop by and share with you this last week of stitching. It's been somewhat of a... what would you call that? I don't want to call it a loony bin, but I've been excited. Lots of stuff going on, mostly up here, but lots of stuff going on. So last Thursday was First Thursday at Acorns and Threads, and if you are new to the channel, Acorns and Threads is my LNS. It is on the other side of the river from me, so it's not a huge issue getting there, but which it's just enough that I can't just say, oh, I'm going to just go over for a half hour. Yeah, because otherwise I'd be broke. It'd be too tempting. But it is where I meet the most amazing stitchers. They come from all over. Sometimes the girls come from Washington down to stitch, which is really nice. And we actually had a visit from, I hope I have the right name, Carrie. I think it's Carrie. She works at the Attic in Mesa, Arizona. She came by to do some post-market shopping because she was visiting up in the area. That cross-stitch community it really is a beautiful community. And all of those shops seem to be very supportive of each other, which is, you know, we need more kindness in the world, don't we? We need more kindness. So we stitched last week at First Thursday, and it was a full house. The annex is where it's the classroom portion of Acorns and Threads, but it also served as the display area for market releases. They were still up. Janine is having to figure out how to fit everything in. She was having a huge sale going on to kind of move inventory, so that was exciting for everybody. Besides the fact that there was a Girl Scout cookie table outside the shop. So it was a beautiful day. It was just a beautiful day, and it was so fun stitching with everybody. And it is, there's no one type of stitcher, or everyone has their own passion, and it is inspiring and safe. It's such a sweet place to stitch. Laura, who was one of the stitchers, brought me a present, which totally cracked me up. I have to figure out how to stitch this. And I think I can just do it on graph paper. But she saw a tea towel, and she says sometimes when you see something that reminds you of somebody, you just have to get it. I'm so glad I reminded her of something because she got me this tea towel. But I definitely am going to put it to floss. So here it is. I'll try not to move it so you can read it. And you know, anytime you want to look at something closer, you can just pause the video and take your time. Isn't that a crack up? And yes, I do sleep with the guitar player. I remember when I probably told you this story before, but there's some new people, probably some people. But when G had asked me to get married, I called my dad. I didn't call my mom. I called my dad and said, I'm getting married. And he said, he and my mom had been out sailing, and he said, I will tell your mom, and I will meet you back at the house in 20 minutes. Yeah, so G and I headed over to the home, my parents' home, and I was on the back of his motorcycle. I know, yeah. And my dad said to me afterwards, he said, I never thought I would let my daughter ride off with a guy on the back of his motorcycle. I didn't tell him he was a guitar player. But I rode on the back of a motorcycle with my dad, so I don't know what he was worried about. Anyway. So on to some cross stitch. So Thursday, there's still, at the end of this video, there'll be a little slideshow. I took some photos of what was left of the market releases, and there will be phone operators standing by at Acorns and Threads to take your order. Yes. And there's a lot. There's a lot. So much so that even though I had been done with my market purchases, I bought more. I know. It's something about rubbing elbows or rubbing needles with other stitchers that just makes you have to have it. So this last time I was there, I ended up purchasing this chart by Hello from Liz Matthews. I thought I wasn't going to get it, but then I thought, you know, I bought the called for fabric, because the called for fabric the week before was in this pack that Janine has at the shop by Fiber on a Whim. And I had purchased a 40 count. And it is beautiful colors. This first one is Malachi. And then there is Moonstone. And last but not least, there is Sapphire. And Sapphire, Fiber on a Whim, was the called for fabric that this was done on. And it is a beehive, and it does have bees. So, yeah, it made sense. It made perfect sense. I don't know if I shared this with you. Did I share this with you, that I purchased a cookbook, which is totally funny because I rarely cook, but I did make some really good stew yesterday. We were having dinner with my younger son and his family, and it was St. Patrick's Day, and so I Googled vegan Irish stew, and it turned out really good. I made it in a crock pot. But there's a lot of baking in here, and I can convert any recipe to vegan and gluten-free for G. But I didn't look at it because I thought, I don't really bake. I don't do a lot of baking. But there were all these fabulous cross stitches in here. And I do believe, I'm just going to show you this one. Teresa Kogut did this little guy here, and I'm going to do that too. Oh, that would be a fun little, oh, and the carrot. I mean, the charts, the cross-stitch charts in here are really, really, I mean, there isn't one that I wouldn't stitch. So if I didn't show you that, now I have. Now I have. So when I was at Thursday Stitch, I found out that I was missing out. I was missing out on a stitch along, like, yeah, start along. But Margaret and Julie, and if you don't know, Margaret does a lot of she'll do Zoom meetups from that include Janine from the shop, and Janine will show new things, and we'll be stitching along, and we'll just be smack talking stitch to each other, and it's, boy, it's from all over the place. People are from all over the time zones and the world, and Margaret's goal is to have a stitcher from every continent. I think she's well on her way. Anywho, I found out that Margaret and Julie and several others were doing a stitch along of this. Now, they ran out of the books at Acorns and Threads, and Janine already has ordered in a new stock of this 12-month minis. And you just do one a month. They're 2-inch by 2-inch little pillows. I mean, they're adorable, and you can display them however you want, And look at the back here. They're just precious. And they're all done in DMC. So I went home, because I knew I was going to kit it out of my fabric stash and my DMCs, because I have a lot of it. And I had the perfect fabric. So all of my pillows are going to be out of the same color fabric, because I think I'm going to display all of them together in one big, like dole, not dole, like dole pineapple, but dough bowl. Okay, repeat after me. Dough bowl. I can't say that 5 times real fast. But anyway, when I looked through my fabric stash, I had the perfect fabric. And it is a 32 count overcast by Cedar River linen and design, which is Trixie Tricycle, just one state above. And I love her fabrics. I love her fabrics. And so I was hoarding this piece for some reason, because it was such a beautiful piece. I mean, look at that. It's so awesome. It's called Overcast. You're going to want a piece of this. Anyhow, when I went to pull the DMCs, it turned out I only had about half of them. And as it turned out, I was taking my my grandson, and G and I were going to Joann's Fabrics. My middle grandson, we like to go to Joann's. Although he says it's not pronounced Joann's, it's Joann's. Anyhow, this was the funnest thing because half of the threads, so I would just stand there and say, I need number 932. And then he's 6 years old, he would go down and look for 932. And then he'd pull one for me. And then I would say like 3,329. And he'd go, And then he'd go down there and he goes, darn, it's empty. I mean, it was a great learning experience, and we spent a fun time in Joann's. But I have to say that although I do love my overdyes, there is nothing more beautiful. Look at this colors of all this DMC on this Overcast by Cedar River. I mean, isn't that beautiful? Yeah. So I have all of those ready, and I started on March, and I've got a nice little start on March. I'll have that done here in the next day or two, and I'm using this is I love this bag. This bag is by Goose Designs, Denise, and look at those gnomes. Look at them. Aren't they cute? They are so cute. And it came with the little, thread bed that folds up like a book. And it has a little tag, like to hold scissors, and a little red heart for the needle. Yeah. So I'm going to only pull the threads as I need them monthly. They're all in the bag, but on my thread bed will be the threads that I need for that particular month. And sometimes you really need just a little project, something that is not going to make you sigh. A non-sighing project is what we need. This week I worked on, let me see, this is Punky Pearl's binders, so I have several projects in there. And this is her little tag right there. And I was real excited. I've been making headway on the Spirit of Christmas Set 2. Spirit of Christmas Set 1. I did not know there was a Set 2 until Julie told me there was a Set 2. So you saw last time I finished the first one on Set 1, and now I'm almost done with the second one. And I'm excited because I ordered Set 2 because Julie showed me, let me see if I can show you. Let's see, photo. Oh, there's my sweet grandson. He had a basketball game yesterday, and it was so fun. It's all these 6-year-olds, 5 and 6-year-olds. They don't know what they're doing. And the coaches are so patient, and they're running back and forth, and they don't want to pass the ball, and all the parents and the grandparents are screaming, pass the ball, take the shot, and she and I are sitting there, we're just laughing. It's almost as entertaining to watch the parents as it was to watch the kids, but that was a fun day. I don't even know how I got on that. How did I get it? Anywho, Julie showed me a picture of a quilt. I mean, really, quilt roadies that was made with those 5 of those squares, and I absolutely love it. So I needed to get set 2 because I wanted to have the Christmas tree and the sled. And then when I get those done, I am going to be doing a quilted wall hanging with that cross stitch. That is, it's kind of fun when you get something so exciting like that that just gives you the stitch fever. You know, it gives you the stitch fever. I also, at Stitch Group last week, I forgot to show you, a friend brought me some old stickers. I especially love these hearts. And there is nothing that's $1.49 in the sticker realm anymore. So that was fun. And this little sticker book. Yeah, so I'm going to have fun doing my book of days. I'm still keeping up on my book of days. What else did I get while I was there? Let's see. I know. I had resisted getting it. But I mean, yeah. So I found a piece of fabric, and I'm pretty sure it's 32 count. It's just it's an unknown piece of fabric. But here are the colors, the threads that go with it. 2 I had in my stash, and 2 I had to get at Acorns. So that's going to be very pretty. Yeah. A skinny mini pattern. The Queen Bee. Yeah, it's a cute one. It's a real cute one. And it looks like it'll be a fast stitch. And that also is in a fabulous Punky Pearl bag. Folder, I should say folder. Yeah. So how you been doing? I have been listening to a book that is, I mean, it's amazing. I don't know if I already told you this, but it's, let's see, where's phone? Okay, it's an audiobook, and it's really, really rich in, it's a real novel. It's a real novel, and it is called The River We Remember by William Kent Kruger. It's really good. It's good. Like they could make an epic movie about it, like a Gone with the Wind movie. So I'm hoping, because I have been so busy lately, I'm hoping that I can get through it before the library yanks it back, and I have to recheck it out to finish it. Yeah, I hate that when that happens. Tomorrow's the first day of spring, and you know what that means. A new start. That's the thing. Why deprive yourself of starts? Why do we make all these rules for ourselves? There are so many rules in the world anyway that we have to follow. You have to drive on the right side of the road. You have to tell the self-checkout that you brought your own bag. You can't walk your dog in certain parks because of the impact on the wildlife. There are just all kinds of rules. all kinds of rules. So why do we continue? Maybe we're just comfortable in our rules. But when it comes to something that brings me joy, why am I going to make a limit? Why am I just not going to enjoy the journey, however it takes me? I've kind of been really mulling around with this whole thing that, it must come from when we were in school. Like you gotta finish your chapter. I know some of you probably read the last pages of a book. That's the rebel in you see? So why is it that we are, I understand the anxiety of having so many projects started, but I guess since I started the designated stitch, I don't have that anymore because I know eventually it's going to get done. I still love it. It's going to get done. And there's something really relaxing about having a designated stitch. And for those of you who may be new, what I mean is that I stitch whatever I want during the daytime. If I have time to stitch during the daytime, I just kind of stitch. At night, it's the same project until it's done. So there's no decision making. After dinner and G and I settle in front of the television, which is going to be later and later with this beautiful weather, I stitch the same project until it's done. That's why in the evening I'm pretty relaxed because there's no challenge. Everything, all the supplies are there already, everything's done, and I just do it until it's done. And since I started doing that, which has only been since the beginning of the year, I think back, I might have started in December. I can't remember. I finished the trees, huge project. I finished G's birthday present. I finished my son's, I might have started that last year sometime, now I think about it, because I finished a couple other projects that for my two kids' birthdays. So, just relaxing into the stitching. And so that evening designated stitch for me, it doesn't have to be for you. You get to make your own rules. No one is the boss of you. I am choosing a whip, not a new start to finish. I might finish new starts, but that evening stitch is always going to come off of the whip list. And I have 32 whips right now. And some of you will say, oh, that's a drop in the bucket. And some of you will say, oh my God, she needs therapy. Hey, it's my journey to walk, right? Yeah, no one's the boss of me. Or you. So with that, I'm never stressed in the evening. It's like, yay. I'm a little bit more challenged on finding something good to watch. I'm a little challenged. But tomorrow is back to starts. Tomorrow is the first day of spring. And I love all of those things that say, oh, you're going to start something on this day. You know, like first day of spring, St. Patrick's Day, Valentine's Day. I love all of that. Partying. It's like partying, cross-stitch partying. And so I am starting in Praise of Pollinators. And this is going to be a start along / stitch along for anybody who wants to join. And I will hashtag this under hashtag Love My Stitch Sal, because we do love our stitching. And yeah, it's going to be a fun stitch. and it's already kitted up. I'm doing it on the called for fabric, which does it, I know it's the called for fabric. What is it? Stormy Nights, 40 count Stormy Nights by Zweigart. So I've got that, and I've already got the threads already, and Janine McGowan of the Blue Flower, she uses predominantly DMC, so I'm all ready. I'm all ready for it. So that's the start for tomorrow, and it's in this lovely bag by, there's no tag on the bag, but I do believe this is a Debbie. You know, it's so fun. It's got so much fun stuff. So the designated stitch right now is Away We Ride by Blackbird. This was a stitch along started by my friend Sandy a few years ago, and there were just 4 of us doing it. That was pre-big social media stitch along things, and so it's just the 4 of us doing it. And I want to show you the whole, what I've done so far, because I pulled it out of my whip pile. But before I do that, I wanted to show you how I am stitching this particular one. I use a stitching pillow that sits on my lap, and I'm using a hoop with this one. But I also use those silicone ties, and I've been asked a few times, how do those silicone ties work? How do you gather it all up? So just to show you, here's how I'm stitching. So I roll all the excess fabric up like a little braid or something, and as I roll it into itself, I put a silicone tie to hold it against the hoop. So this has a lot of silicone ties. I normally just use 2, but this fabric kept popping loose and flopping around, and I don't like it when it flops around. So that's how I use those silicone ties. I just roll the fabric, gently roll it around the hoop, and silicone tie it. So now I'm going to take it out of the hoop so you can see what I have done so far. I love the colors in this. Okay. Don't ask me why I stitched it the way I did. I wanted a border, somewhat of a border, but I don't know. When I look at it now, I wonder why I did that. Okay, so here it is. See, I did a little bit at the bottom, came across the top, and now I'm working on the house. And I have no clue what this fabric is. It looks like an even weave of some kind. Okay, so that is my current designated stitch, and I think I've covered everything. Sometimes, oh, I got into Pinwith, which is the Pacific Northwest Stitch Summit. The sign-ups were fast and furious, and I heard the registration opened up at 9, and I heard it was filled by 9:03. That's amazing. That's amazing. So it's going to be a party. It's going to be a party. I'm so excited. I'm so looking forward to it. I hope I see a bunch of you there. And if you made the wait list, don't worry. Life happens. People move off the wait list pretty fast too. So don't give up hope. Don't give up hope. Okay, I think I am done jabbering. Stay tuned for the little slideshow. Yeah, still some fun market stuff. And the fabric she has is pretty. Oh, and she still has 2 packs left of this beautiful, beautiful fabric. I mean, it's awesome. It's really awesome. Okay, love you guys. You take care. You take care. Enjoy the sun if you're getting some sun, and enjoy your stitching. And remember, no one's the boss of you.